My name is Jeff Morgan. I am from Dallas, Texas. I'm here at Rockwall County right now, and the reason I'm here is because this is April the 25th, 2022, and I'm here to discuss the Rockwall, Texas proclamation for Parental Alienation Awareness Day. This was signed by Mayor Kevin Fowler. Mayor Kevin Fowler of Rockwall signed this proclamation, and I want to thank Rockwall Mayor Kevin Fowler for signing this proclamation. I'm going to go ahead and read it. I've read it several times already today, but I do want to read it in front of the police station, and I found it very interesting that you have both the Rockwall Police Department and the Child Advocacy Center right beside each other. In many instances, police actions actually almost go against advocating for children. They tend to cause some of the conditions that help to create parental alienation. But the whole idea of the Parental Alienation Proclamation says this: whereas parental alienation deprives children of their right to love and be loved by both parents and by their whole family, and whereas parental alienation can be very emotionally and mentally damaging to a child, and whereas behaviors such as speaking negatively about a parent to or in front of a child can destroy the bond between a loving parent and a child, whereas awareness of this issue creates education and understanding to better the lives of children in our community, whereas the month of April is Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, and parental alienation is considered to be a form of child psychological abuse. Parental alienation is a form of child psychological abuse. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Fowler, Mayor of the City of Rockwall, do hereby proclaim April the 25th, 2020 as Parental Alienation Awareness Day in the City of Rockwall, and call upon all citizens, and this includes police, it includes child advocacy people, it includes those people who are involved in the domestic violence industry, it includes city judges, it includes family court judges, anti-family attorneys, pastors, ministers, whatever you may be, fire department, firefighters, whoever you are, all citizens of the City of Rockwall. I call upon all citizens to join others in blowing bubbles of love, to symbolize that as bubbles flow freely, so should the natural love that a child has for both parents and both sides of the family be allowed to flow freely as well. The Mayor of Rockwall, Kevin Fowler, by his own hand and official seal on the 4th of April 2022, he signed this proclamation. Parental Alienation Awareness Day. What is parental alienation? Parental alienation is a situation that occurs when one parent is basically eliminated or marginalized from a child's life because of the poison that another parent, a grandparent, sometimes it can be somebody in the legal profession, a judge, puts into a child to make that child either afraid of the parent or to try to denigrate the parent. That is what takes place. And parental alienation is a form of psychological child abuse. As this proclamation says, it deprives a child of the right to love both parents freely and to be loved by their whole family. It is also very emotionally and mentally damaging to children, and it also helps to destroy the loving bond between a parent and a child, and it should be considered child psychological abuse. Now, the reason I'm here in front of the police station right now is because we can back the blue and everything else, but the police often are instructed in a model called the Duluth model. And the Duluth model is basically a model of power that basically, when it comes right down to it in its essence, it says men are victimizers, women are victims. So when you get a police call to come to a place, the police have the assumption that somehow a man is abusing the wife and the man needs to be removed. And often this becomes this whole idea of a false allegation, which goes largely unchallenged, becomes the basis for parental alienation. It becomes the basis for the psychological abuse of our children. And again, the police are instructed in this type of behavior by and large, so that police often do this. And I know this for a fact as well. I went to go see my daughter on Christmas Eve. It was 2015, 2014. I went to go see her. My grandson wanted to give them some money. I tried to make sure I was visiting my daughter when nobody was there. I did not park in front of the house. I stayed on the street. My daughter came out and met me. My grandson was there. My ex-wife came home with her new husband, Pastor John Wygant, a pastor who was either recently fired or left the church because of some things that went on between him and my ex-wife. Anyway, they called the police on me, and the police tried to arrest me, wanted to cite me for trespassing. My daughter was so upset that even she got mad and was furious with my ex-wife. But the police had to issue me a criminal trespass warning. Now, I did speak to other people in the city then. I went after the abuse of the police, because the police can abuse people. They can make some conclusions that are erroneous because of the training that they've received. It's almost as if they're programmed to say every man is an abuser, every woman is an abused person. And sometimes it works the other way. I know very good mothers who have been accused of being the abuser, and the husband is the actual abuser. So it does happen that way. There's not to denigrate either sex or either gender. But the problem that comes down to it is this: parental alienation. This type of a circumstance takes place where somebody says, well, I filed a protective order against the husband. I filed a protective order against the wife or the father or the mother. I filed a restraining order. For what reason? There was an assistant district attorney in Williamson County. Her name was Leslie Levy, and she was teaching attorneys how to use protective orders to gain an advantage in divorce. And our anti-family law system, our anti-family attorneys, some of them even counsel, hey, let's file a protective order. Let's file a restraining order. Have you ever felt unsafe around your husband or around your wife? Well, we'll file a restraining order. That gives you an advantage in divorce. And that's what assistant attorney Leslie Levy taught, and that's what the police often do. They come into a situation and they have to say, well, the mother called, the father was in front of the house, now we have to issue an order against the father. In my case, actually, the police called about this because I have the record still, and they realized that I did nothing. My daughter was upset about it. But the idea was that basically because they were called, the assumption was somehow I was being abusive. And one parent often uses this to help destroy the relationship of a child with his or her parent. Sometimes a child will use it to destroy the relationship between a grandchild and a grandparent. And I know this from first-hand experience. So when we talk about parental alienation, it's a very real phenomenon. It's something that we don't talk about too much. It's something that we don't know about a whole lot. And even the police force here, I'm not sure that they understand all that takes place with parental alienation. So I just recently spoke with the county judge of Rockwall. His name is David Sweet. He's a friend of mine from years. He's seen some of the stuff that I've gone through, spoken with him, wanted to see if there's any way that we could get some type of education to the city. And I would also like to make the same offer to the police force. We have expert testimonies, expert witnesses, experts in this area. Brooks McKenzie, Dr. Brooks McKenzie, one of the experts in the state of Texas, if not throughout the country, who would love to come out here and teach the police about the use of false accusations in court, about what they are doing to help destroy families. This is a very big issue. We can back the blue, but not accept everything that they do. We know that the blue has a lot of difficult decisions to make, but when the blue has a playbook that basically says we have to side with an abuser, we have to side with the false allegations, we have to help create the environments that one parent is kicked out of the life, knowing that just by being there, that's going to help the person gain an advantage in divorce or child custody or whatever it may be. That is an abusive practice, and that needs to be changed. And by the way, I also know a very good woman in here. The police saw what took place with her on 4 separate occasions, where the father was the one who was filing the abusive reports. The police were willing to testify on behalf of the mother on at least 4 separate occasions, and Judge David Rakow, the anti-family court judge of Rockwall, Texas, anti-family court judge David Rakow, would not allow him to testify, to the best of my knowledge anyway. And in addition to that, the district attorney of the year, Kendra Culpepper, refused to prosecute. This is abominable. Interference with child custody is a state jail felony under the Texas Penal Code, Crimes Against the Family, Section 25.03. I've talked personally with Kendra Culpepper about this. She did not want to be interviewed because she thought I would be mean to her. Kendra Culpepper, I'm not being mean to you. I'm just asking you, why are you not doing your job? And there's the way that the system is set up right now is that these district attorneys, they have to find another layer so they can blame somebody else, point the fingers at somebody else. Well, the reason I didn't do it was because this jury did not do something. As a district attorney, this should be a very serious matter to you. You are failing in your position, even if you are the district attorney for the state of the year, for the state of Texas. You are failing, and Kendra Culpepper, I'd love to actually interview you and ask you some questions. You no need to be afraid of me, but just to get some truth out there so that we know what's going on in the system. Anyway, for the police station right here, again, I have a great expert testimony, a great expert witness, one of the experts throughout the state of Texas. I've already spoken with him. There may be some opportunities for him to help educate people within the city of Rockwall itself. And I'm sure that if he was able to speak to the police department, he would do the same thing here. But right now, we must realize that just because a police report is filed does not even mean that there's any truth to the matter. And some evil people, or maybe even good people that use evil methods, will use this to try to destroy the bond between a parent, a loving parent, and a child, or a loving grandparent and a grandchild. And this is despicable. So I'm going to ask the police to consider doing this, because right now they are part of the problem. And again, we back the blue in very many ways, but we have to speak the truth. Where the police are creating problems, we must address the issues, we must fix the issues. Rockwall Police Department, I hope that you do take me up on this. And for those that are here with the Child Advocacy Center as well, you know as well that children need both parents in their lives. And many times you know for a fact that both parents are perfectly fit, willing, and able parents, and yet an anti-family court judge will say that one person needs to have supervised visitation at great expense simply because that's the way the system works. Well, if the system creates this abuse, this mental and psychological abuse of our children, we need to change the system. So on Parental Alienation Awareness Day, once again, I thank Mayor Kevin Fowler for signing this, and I hope it's just a good first step. I hope that the first step becomes action. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here. You want to talk for a minute?
Oh my gosh, I'm knocking my hair.
Okay, your hair looks beautiful, but anyway, and she was here. You were here to back the blue, right?
Oh gosh.
No, come on in.
What's your name?
My name is Jeff Morgan. Your name?
Jeff, Amy Lee Pierce. How are you, Jeff?
Okay, great, Amy.
Hi.
Come on a little bit closer. Come on into the camera.
Oh gosh.
Okay,
hi,
great.
everybody.
So good to meet you. Now, you were here to back the blue.
Definitely. We are going around town and setting up Go Blue signs to go along with those 6-foot blue ribbons that the Rockwall Child Advocacy Center puts out.
So tell me, what do you know about the Child Advocacy Center? Because the first thing I've noticed, I used to live in Rockwall, and the Child Advocacy Center, I don't think was here when I lived here. But I find it very interesting that the Child Advocacy Center and the Rockwall Police Department are side by side.
Oh gosh, I love it so much. So
tell me why.
April's my birthday month.
Okay.
So April's of course dear to me.
I just want to make sure that you're in the. Oh, there you
Children are our future, and the more that we can support our children, the more the children are going to support our world.
Right.
And that's what we need.
So there's something that's going on today. I don't know if you're aware of this. April is Child Abuse Awareness Month.
Yes.
And Awareness and Prevention Month. But today in particular, it's called Parental Alienation Awareness Day. Are you familiar with what that is?
I'm not, but I assume that you're alienating your children, right?
Right. It happens to people sometimes when they're married. They speak negatively about one parent in front of the children. Especially it happens after divorce. When a situation occurs and sometimes the attorneys will tell you, say something, file a restraining order, file a protective order, because that gives you an advantage in divorce court. And what it does, it helps to destroy the relationship between a father or a mother, I've seen it happen to both, and a child. What are your thoughts about that? Should that be illegal? Should that be?
Oh my gosh, that's so not fighting fair.
Right.
And when you're looking at the best interest, your best interest should be in your children, not in who gets the better deal in the divorce.
Right. And what I've always said is that for the best interest of the children need both parents, preferably in the same home. They need to have mother and father together.
Absolutely. And if you can't be in the same home, at least be on the same team. Be team children.
Exactly. So there's another. Let me ask you now. As long as I thank you so much, Amy. This is right out of the blue that this just happened right here. But we've also talked about, and there's some people that say after a divorce takes place, and of course I'd rather not see the divorce. I think the divorce laws are way too bad in our state. But if a divorce takes place, that parents should have like 50-50 access, equal access to the children, or that the children, more importantly, should have equal access to both parents, assuming that both parents are good parents.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, you need both of them. Nobody does it alone. You can't succeed and just be one person. You need. It takes a village, right?
It does take a village. So listen, I'm going to let you go here, but Parental Alienation Awareness Day, I do have one of these left, and I'll tell you what, it is so messed up right now, you probably won't even be able to read it. I've gone to like 8 different places here. I've gone to the courthouse. I just talked to David Sweet, the county judge. I've been in front of a church, city hall, and stuff like that. But this is the proclamation, and what happens, you can keep that. That's okay.
Nice. Thank you.
You actually can probably see it on a Rockwall page somewhere. But what it just says is that if we alienate a parent from a child's life, it deprives the child of the ability to love both parents and be loved by both parents freely. And often what happens is it not just involves the parents, it involves grandparents, it involves uncles and aunts. A whole side of a family can be erased. Unfortunately, right now, and I don't know if you're familiar with our family court system, but that is a regular tool of our family court and our divorce industry attorneys.
Right. We don't want to do that. Be kind. Be good people.
Yeah.
We need more good people.
Well, Amy, I want to just thank you. And what Amy just said, I'm going to second. Be good people.
Yes.
And if you're in Rockwall, again, I'm talking about Parental Alienation Awareness Day, and I'm hoping that this proclamation is the first good step. Mayor Kevin Fowler, thank you. Amy, thank you so much for.
Thank you so, Jeff. It's so nice to meet you.